You ever have one of those days where everything feels peaceful, almost too peaceful, right? Before chaos kicks in? That was my morning. The sun was soft, the air calm, and my pregnant wife, Aisha, was sitting on our porch sipping warm tea while rubbing her belly. She was 7 months along, glowing, peaceful, and finally feeling safe after months of a smooth pregnancy. But peace never lasts long when Karen lives in your neighborhood. Now this wasn't your average loudmouth, bored on a Tuesday Karen? No. This Karen had recently leveled up. She started walking around with a shiny metal badge she printed off the internet, pretending she was part of HOA enforcement. That's right, she had promoted herself from neighborhood nuisance to full-blown fake authority figure. I was in the garage when I heard the first shout. "You can't put that there!" Aisha's voice trembled. "Put what where?" I froze, my heart punched my ribs. I walked to the driveway quietly, slow enough not to start a scene, but fast enough to step in if needed. And that's when I saw her. Karen, hair frizzed like she'd fought a windstorm, wearing her usual neon jogging outfit, standing inches from my wife, waving her fake badge like it was the FBI. "That planter violates HOA Regulation Code 14, Karen barked. "As acting HOA compliance officer, I can issue fines." "And I will." Aisha blinked, confused. "Karen, that planter has been here for a year. We've always had it." Karen slammed the badge against her chest dramatically. "Not with me around." My wife took a step back, pressing a hand against her belly. I could see her trying to stay calm. I could also see Karen leaning in farther, intentionally intimidating her. And that was it. My blood went cold, not hot, not angry, cold. A dangerous kind of calm washed over me. I stepped out onto the driveway. "Karen," I said, my voice sharp enough to slice the air, "step away from my wife." She spun around, startled, but recovered quickly, flashing the badge at me like I was supposed to salute. Well, she hissed. "If it isn't the husband, I'm issuing a violation. And if you argue, I can escalate this legally." She thought that badge gave her power. She thought she could bully a pregnant woman. She had no idea what she had just triggered. I stepped closer, looked her dead in the eyes and said, "Karen, put the badge down." She didn't, so I made her. Karen's smirk cracked just a little when I stepped forward. But she didn't back down. Karen never backed down. Not when she was wrong, not when she was lying, and definitely not when she thought she had authority. She lifted her chin, jabbed a finger at my chest and said, "If you interfere again, I'll file an official HOA complaint. And trust me, I always win." Aisha whispered my name, her voice shaky. Her hand rested protectively on her belly, and that was all the reminder I needed. Whatever this situation was, it wasn't just about a planter or a fake badge. It was about Karen targeting my pregnant wife, trying to intimidate her when she was alone. I looked at Karen's badge, cheap metal, flimsy clip, the word enforcement misspelled. She must have ordered it from a prank website, but she wore it with the confidence of someone who had convinced herself it was real. "Karen," I said slowly, "you're not with the HOA. You never have been." She scoffed loud enough for the entire neighborhood to hear. "Shows what you know. The HOA president personally gave me this badge because he trusts me. Unlike some people, I take our community rules seriously." Aisha frowned. "But the HOA president moved out 2 months ago." Karen froze for a second, a tiny second, but I caught it. Then she doubled down. "That's none of your business," she snapped. "And if you talk back again, I'll write you up. Both of you." I took another careful step forward, not aggressive but controlled. The kind of step that says you're not scaring anyone here. "Write us up for what?" I asked calmly. Karen flipped open a little notebook. Blank pages. All of them. She started scribbling nonsense like a child pretending to give homework. "For unauthorized porch decorations," she declared. "And for speaking to an HOA officer disrespectfully. That's a $300 fine." Aisha gasped. 300 what? Karen shot her a look. Pregnant or not, rules are rules. If you don't want fines, follow them. That was the last straw. "You're done," I said. "You don't harass my wife. You don't flash fake badges. And you don't extort people." Karen lifted her badge higher. "Try stopping me." So I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone and clicked record. Her eyes widened. What are you doing?" "Getting evidence," I said. "Because this ends today." For the first time, Karen stepped back. "Stop recording," she demanded. But it was too late. The camera was pointed right at her trembling fake authority. And the truth was about to come out. Karen's voice cracked as she lunged forward, waving her hands in front of my phone like she could erase what I had already recorded. "Turn that off! You can't film an HOA officer doing her job," she shrieked, panic rising in her throat. But the more she panicked, the more I realized something important. This wasn't confidence. It was fear wearing a wig of power. Aisha stepped behind me, keeping a supportive hand on my back. "This is ridiculous," she whispered. Why is she doing this? I knew why. Karen thrived on control. She wasn't just addicted to drama. She needed it. And pretending to have authority gave her the biggest high of her life. But now, cornered by her own lies, she started unraveling. You're impersonating an HOA official, Karen, I said, steady and cold. That's illegal. And threatening a pregnant woman? That's harassment. Karen's mouth twitched. She didn't expect me to use the word illegal. She definitely didn't expect me to keep recording as she slowly backed up toward the sidewalk. You don't understand, she sputtered. Someone has to maintain order around here. The HOA ignores everything. I'm the only one willing to enforce the rules. So you appointed yourself, I asked. She stiffened. Someone had to. Aisha shook her head gently. Karen, all you had to do was talk to us. You didn't need a fake badge. Karen clutched the badge like a toddler holding a broken toy, shaking her head as if reality itself betrayed her. It's not fake, she snapped. It's symbolic. It shows authority. Printed from your computer? I asked. Her jaw clenched. A tiny muscle twitched at the corner of her mouth. I continued, You're done bullying people. I'm sending this to the real HOA, and maybe the police. Impersonation isn't something they ignore. Karen's eyes widened so much I thought they might fall out. No, wait! She rushed forward, grabbing my arm. You can't do that! They'll ban me from meetings. My husband will lose it. Please, don't send anything. Aisha's voice softened. You should have thought of that before threatening me. Karen's fake confidence shattered completely. The badge slipped from her fingers, clinking against the pavement. She scrambled to grab it, but missed. Her hands shook. Please, she whispered. Just delete the video. I'll stop. I promise. But promises meant nothing from someone who weaponized fear. This isn't about revenge, I said. It's about making sure you never do this again. She swallowed hard, her voice cracking. I'll do anything. I looked at her trembling badge, at her broken posture, at the guilt she finally tasted. Good, I said, because this ends on my terms. Karen stood there trembling, staring at the badge on the ground like it was the last piece of dignity she had left. The neighborhood was silent, too silent. A few blinds cracked open. A couple of doors creaked. Everyone had seen Karen bully people for months, but nobody had ever seen her crumble. Not like this. Please, she whispered, voice thin and shaking. Don't send that video to anyone. I'll lose everything. Just delete it. Aisha stepped closer, not aggressively, but with the confidence of a woman who had been pushed too far. You scared me today, Karen. You walked up to me alone, waving that badge, yelling, threatening fines, and you didn't even care I was pregnant. Karen shut her eyes, guilt washing over her face like she was finally seeing the replay of her own actions. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just trying to keep order. Things have been so stressful. The neighborhood is changing, and I thought if I acted with authority, people would listen again. You don't get authority by faking it, I replied. You earn it by respecting others. Something you clearly forgot. She nodded frantically. I know. I messed up. Just tell me what you want me to do. I'll do anything. Just please don't report me. For a moment, I considered it. She deserved consequences, real ones. But I also saw a terrified, broken-down human being, not a monster. Aisha touched my arm gently, grounding me. Her look said everything. Handle this wisely. So I took a deep breath. Fine. Here's what's going to happen. Karen looked up like she'd been thrown a lifeline. You're going to apologize to my wife, properly. No excuses. No attitude. Karen nodded immediately. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I truly am. I shouldn't have approached you and I shouldn't have used that badge. I was wrong. Aisha accepted the apology with a slow nod, though her voice stayed firm. And you won't come to our house again unless invited. Ever. Yes, I swear. I continued, and you're going to return that badge to the real HOA. You're going to tell them exactly what you did. If you don't, I will. Karen's face flushed with dread, but she nodded anyway. I'll tell them. I promise. I stopped the recording, but I didn't delete it. I kept it as insurance. Karen picked up the badge with shaking fingers, clutching it like a reminder of the worst choice she'd ever made. Then she whispered the words I never thought I'd hear from her. I'll do better. As she walked away, defeated and small, Aisha leaned into me, relief softening her breath. Do you think she meant it? She asked. I glanced at Karen disappearing down the sidewalk. Oh, she meant it, I said. She's never crossing this line again. Not after today. And she didn't. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts below. Your support helps me bring you more HOA and Karen stories every single week.